Hello, I'm Mark,
Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're going to talk another article that Patrick has put out from Cars with Cords. But first, let's roll that title card.
Not
You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. And we have got, of course, Mr. Patrick Connor with us, who has his own blog site, which is Cars with Cords. And
.net.
he's done a new little article that we wanted to talk a little bit about, and it's timely too. So, Patrick, take it away.
That's right. As we talked about on the live show Wednesday, the RoboTaxi launch is happening soon, 6 days from now, if the media reports are accurate, and it happens on the 12th. And this is going to be a game changer. Yes, it's going to start small, but you've always got to start somewhere. And one thing that Tesla knows how to do is scale things up and put them in millions of people's hands. And so, yeah, it's the 10 vehicles this week, and maybe it's 100 by the end of the year. Maybe it's 1,000 next year, 10,000. We'll see how it goes, how the rollout happens. But I think it's important that the future is autonomous. Now, when is that future going to get here? That's a good question. But I mean, who still washes their clothes by hand? Nobody, except for maybe delegates or whatever. But things, we use washing machines because they autonomously wash our clothes for us, so we don't have to do that drudge work. And that's the same thing with driving. Sure, if you want to drive for fun, that's great. Go do that. But most driving is because you have to, not because you wanted to. And if autonomous vehicles can make that go away, that frees you up to follow your passions and do whatever you want during that time, whether it's read or browse or do whatever productivity, instead of holding the wheel, staring out, making sure you're not going to get slammed into by another vehicle. Because in the US alone, 40,000 people die per year in car crashes. And if we can get to a point where the majority of vehicles on the road are autonomous, it's going to be like air travel is today. It's much safer because you have trained professionals using automated assistants to do the work instead of just anybody who can pass a driver's test flying a plane. So that's going to be great because every time there is an autonomous vehicle crash, it's going to be investigated. And if the vehicle was at fault, that'll be fixed. If the other driver was at fault, okay, well, how could we defend against this? And the system will improve. So one thing that we've talked about here is Tesla's innovation flywheel. And they do this with all of their products. They get them out early. They innovate on them quickly. They do releases. We see software releases 5-6 times a year because they're making improvements to their vehicle. They don't wait for model years to roll out new changes. When they have an improvement, they push the improvement through. And it puts a whole new spin on how fast you can get to a working system. So today, Tesla's not the first to have autonomous vehicles out. Waymo and others have been doing this for a while. But those solutions that are out there are bespoke. I mean, you can go to a Michelin star restaurant, and that's great, but it's not going to serve the masses, right? So what Tesla's doing is they are putting out their affordable vehicles that have autonomy, and it's going to be something that is not just at some point. I mean, they have to start small, but it's going to roll out faster. It's going to roll out to more cities. It's going to be something that can be affordable, and that's just not the case if you have a system that has tens of thousands of dollars of sensors on it. And instead, Tesla is doing this with cameras. Why? Well, cameras are really good, first of all, and they're affordable because we use them in so many devices. It's much like Tesla did when they started. They used laptop batteries. They didn't use some custom specific battery that they designed in-house for just them. Could they have done that? Sure. Would it have been slightly better than laptop batteries? Maybe. But it's not going to have the economies of scale. It's not going to be affordable. So they're going after the affordable method of doing this. And you could say, oh, well, but if you don't have LiDAR and radar, it's not going to work. Well, that's not true. If you have a hardware 4 vehicle today and FSD 13, you know that it's great. Is it perfect? Not yet. Well, that's why you have a supervisor. For the taxi service, when it rolls out, it's going to have remote supervision. And how much of that? Initially, 100% is going to be being watched by people. And then as they scale up, as they see how many miles they can get without interventions from these remote monitors, they'll be able to have maybe one person watching 2 vehicles, and then 4 vehicles, and then 8 vehicles, and maybe 50 vehicles, depending on how often they need attention. And you want to have all of that in the vehicle, it making smart decisions in real time and not requiring some remote, hey, what is this? How do I handle this? You need to be able to make smart choices on the fly.
Wow.
So let's talk about cameras versus LiDAR. We already talked about the cost, but if you have a LiDAR system, it has cameras also.
Yep.
Because LiDAR can't see brake lights. Cameras can. LiDAR can't tell what color the stoplight is. Is it red, yellow, green? And you need to know that if you're driving. So there's a lot of things that cameras fill in the gaps for LiDAR. Well, okay, so what happens if you have some rain or fog and your LiDAR says you're about to slam into a brick wall at 70 miles an hour and the camera is able to see through that and says, no, it's fine. Which one do you trust? Well, if you that's called sensor fusion, when you have multiple sensors and you have to have a coherent picture of the world, but you're getting different input. How do you resolve that? Well, if you have a camera-only system, you don't have that problem. And cameras are already multi-spectrum. They're looking at the entire visual range and even in some cases the near-end infrared. So better than human vision, including low light conditions, night driving, and the longer wavelengths mean that they can penetrate through fog and rain better than normal human vision. So if you have better than human vision, why would you need anything else? So yeah, that's kind of the whole gist of the article is that autonomy is coming. It's going to be great. Tesla's the right company to bring it to the masses, and you don't have to have LiDAR or radar if you can drive better than a human, see better than a human, perceive better, make better decisions. That's the whole gist.
With that said, Patrick, do you think that the other companies that have been building a LiDAR-based solution, why haven't they looked at what Tesla's doing and determined that that's going to be cheaper, that's going to be faster to deploy? Why haven't they followed Tesla in that vein?
Yeah, that is a really good question. Part of it is that LiDAR solves some problems to make sure that you're not running into something immediately. And if you want to get a working solution on the road, you're going to take that shortcut. But then the problem is once you've gone down that path, how do you get to a scalable solution? And so if you're taking what looks like a shortcut, but it turns out to be a dead end, what do? So you try to plow
turn around,
through,
start over again.
Yeah. So maybe at some point when Tesla has proven that, hey, this is viable, camera only can be the right solution. Right now there's not a good example of that, and so of course they're going to keep going down the road where they see how they can make it work.
Makes sense.
And nobody else has the training data that Tesla has.
Right.
So
Also,
that makes it really difficult to handle all the edge cases.
Also, when you look at the amount of competition or upcomers that have ditched the extra sensors and gone camera only, it also tells you that they feel they could be onto something, or they could be chasing trends, but I would think that if that was the case, they would continue with LiDAR rather than chasing that if they were chasing trends. And then you look at Mobileye, they have really pretty much stopped investing in at least their own LiDAR. And they have customers who are really big on it, so they didn't say, oh no, we're dropping it, but it sounds like they're not putting any new money into it. And then anecdotally, you don't have to worry about your cameras breaking people's phones while they record you.
Right. Yeah. LiDAR shoots out lasers at 905 nanometer, or the other is 1550 nanometer, and that can ruin camera sensors, which is ironic that it's LiDAR versus cameras. And sometimes it's literally.
and the LiDAR is striking back.
Yes. Yeah. Camera sensors don't like being struck by lasers.
No, apparently not.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is interesting. We know that the launch is coming soon, just a few days from today. But it will be interesting to see if obviously Tesla believes they have the solution. They're going to roll it out. We have seen some evidence that they do have the solution based on version 13 of FSD and updates. But we've also seen that, as Patrick has mentioned, it's not quite there yet. We have some edge cases where it doesn't respond the way that we believed it should. But it'll be real interesting to see is how Tesla has improved the version 13 in the vehicles that they're deploying in a few days. Obviously, they'll have a bit of a different software pack, but it will be interesting to see as to how they handle the streets of Austin. And if those, as Patrick has mentioned, if those humans that are watching the vehicles, if they're going to have to engage with it often, rarely, or never, it will be interesting to see how that is handled. And I'm sure people that are taking rides in these vehicles, they're going to be recording it and posting it on YouTube like crazy. So if something does go awry for whatever reason, it will be captured. Somebody will capture it, either from the outside, the inside, or both. So we'll get to see eventually, maybe not initially, but as this rolls out, it gets to a little bit of a wider audience, that will certainly allow more people to interact with it and record what's going on.
Right. And it will be interesting to see how fast it can scale, because I think that's Tesla's biggest advantage, is that they can take this and so there's going to be hopefully a second city this year, and hopefully 4 or 5 more cities next year. So we'll see. It all depends on how the rollout goes. Yeah. And we've seen other autonomous vehicles have problems. There was one where a bunch of college kids all got together and called to create a roadblock. There's one where it drove down a parade route. There's another one where it went into a flood zone and then stopped, so that the passenger had to crawl out the window. Another one where it was going around in circles in a parking lot at an airport, and the guy's like, I need to get out and get my flight, but it wouldn't stop. He's calling their support line, and they're walking him through how to go through the app to make an emergency stop so he can get out of the vehicle. So yeah, will there be hiccups? Absolutely. That's what happens early in a rollout.
Yeah. This is exciting times. We'll have to see how quickly, as Patrick has mentioned, does it roll out. And what do you think out there watching the video? Do you think this will be successful? Do you think it will roll out as Tesla believes? Are you in the Austin area and trying to get on the preferred app list? That's another thing. Let us know in the comments what you think about this rollout in a few days, and how you think it will go. It'd be interesting to see your comments. With that said, I think we'll roll into some shout outs. Casey, what do you got for us today?
Catch us on Sunday at youtube.com/Casey Green for Let's Chat with Casey and Friends, or at x.com/gcustom. And then we'll see you again on Monday and on Wednesday for the live show.
Perfect. Patrick?
As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally, as you just heard, at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels.
And if you want to read that article, it'll be linked in the notes. So check it out and send Patrick a comment in the blog post. That'd be nice.
Cool.
With that said, I think we will get together next time, and together we'll find out what's happening in the Tesla life.